Learn to create Cubist style painting with watercolor. This is Pablo Picasso and Cubism, and this is Paul Klee working with fishes. And we're going to be working with fish today, but you can really work with any other subject matter in this technique. I chose to do fish today because fish is easy. Everybody knows its shape, and you probably have a picture of fish if you don't remember what it looks like. Or it's always good to use real fish or a fake one if you have one like I do. As long as you've got the shape down, something to remember how it looks, and then we're going to use the materials. Watercolor set with watercolor brush. Number 12 round brush is good. Smaller size is fine as well. Water in a plastic container to clean your brushes with. Masking tape. Pencil. And a ruler. Also, you'll need quite a few paper towels. You will also need watercolor paper, especially for the paints we're going to be using, and a hard smooth surface. I'm using actually a placemat. You're going to tape your paper on 4 sides to the board, and that will create a nice white border in the finished painting. Then you draw your fish. Take your time to get the shapes right. You don't need to put much detail. Just the body, the fins, the tail, an eye, mouth, and maybe just the gill. Separate the head from the body. Then we're going to do a plate or a platter, just to make a composition a little more interesting, so the fish is not just floating in the middle of the painting. So we're going to put it on a little cake stand. And then we're going to start breaking it into shapes. Remember, this is cubism, so we want to give geometric shapes throughout our painting. And the way to do it is draw straight radiating lines, like they get wider at the bottom from one corner to the next, about 4 from each corner. Now you've got 2 sets of colors, cool on the bottom, warm on the top, and you're going to use either cool on the fish and warm on the background, or vice versa, warm colors on the fish and cool on the background. So I'm going to demonstrate the technique. Draw 2 shapes. You should have a little piece of watercolor handy, watercolor paper, where you can test your colors and try your technique on. So you're going to put one color on one side of the shape first. I'm putting purple there. Clean your brush, tap it dry, and the other cool color on the other side of the shape. Now, the beautiful thing about watercolor is if it's still wet, they will blend smoothly in the middle. And that's what you're trying to get. You use your paper towel to get rid of extra water. Always clean the brush after. And now you're going to work on the shape next to it. And you will try to get its opposite color beside each one. So you're going to put purple beside the blue and blue beside the purple. So they're never blending in. That's how you can tell the shapes apart. They're not the same color. And this shape also will have the 2 colors blended in the middle. And that's the way you're going to do the whole fish. And those two colors, just to make it simpler, you can also use green and blue, or purple and turquoise, whatever you like. Just keep the warm colors for the background. Make sure the brush is wet enough, but not too wet. And you'll start always with just the corner of the shape. Oops, hair on the brush coming off. Clean the brush and get the other color and do the other side of the shape. Have them blend in the middle. The shape beside it is going to have the opposite color touching it. Try not to have them run into each other, because you want to keep the shapes crisp, separate. Now I'm putting purple beside the blue, and it can go whichever way you want. And blue beside the purple. Next shape, purple beside the blue. Just where they're touching, you want it to be the opposite. And blue on the other side of the shape. Use the water to blend your colors. And if you have too much color or too much water, you can always pick it up with a slightly drier brush. So you're going to just continue with this technique on all the shapes that are making up the fish shape. And now we're working on the platter. Same idea, you're only using black and white. So your white is the water. Same idea, white against black, black against white, and the gray value in the middle. So I'm just doing a few blocks first, just to make it a little bit faster. And then just diluting it with water, so it's like you're having clean water on the other side, and in the middle it becomes gray. Now we're going to start working on the background, and that means warm colors. Remember, your warm colors are the reds, the yellows, the oranges. Make sure you clean the brush so you don't get purplish red instead of bright red. So it doesn't really matter which two colors you use as long as they are consistent, the same. And the same idea applies here. So I'm using orange against the red, the cool red, and the red against the orange, and the two mix in the middle inside each shape. I switched from orange to yellow just because it's a bit brighter. The orange is a bit dull mixed with the red. and I want a little more contrast here. You can be a little more creative in the background in terms of which colors you use, as long as they're warm colors. Just to make it a bit faster, I'm gonna put the red in several shapes because I know that it's not gonna touch the yellow beside it. Just to outline some details, I'm using bright red, almost no water, just to give the eye a little bit more contrast. And bottom of the fish. And that's pretty much our project right there. That's our magic fish. If you need to touch anything up, good idea at the end. And now we're gonna peel off the tape. We should have a nice white border. And that's our Cubist fish in watercolor. Hope you enjoyed this project, and thank you for watching.